We knew that that nigga wasn't shit. We knew that he was only really good for a fuck. We knew that he wasn't really a good dude.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Just a Girl Show. My name is Janine. If you are new here, if you're new, of course, hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you never miss an episode. And if you are a subscriber, videos on TikTok was referencing my opinion on women who say that they are content and happy to be by themselves for the rest of their lives. Keywords, rest of their lives. And I said that I don't believe a woman who chooses to spend the rest of her life by herself is truly healed. I don't believe so. But I want to drop that clip for y'all so y'all can see the video. And we can get into the full discussion. But I just want to put that out there before we jump into this full conversation.
I mean to tell me that a healthy, happy woman will willingly choose to spend the rest of her life by herself. Like, is that what we're saying? So being single by choice is very real, right? You can be in your single season. You can decide, like, I'm just, living my life, not ready for a relationship, not interested in a relationship, and that's okay. But there's one thing to say, that this is the choice that I'm making, that I want to spend the rest of my life by myself, no husband, no kids, no nothing, just me, myself, and I find it hard to believe. It sounds like a lot of bitter, broken, unhealed, unhappy women. And instead of joining all these movements, how about you join a therapy group? How about you hit up that number on the back of your insurance card if you have insurance and find out where you can find you a therapist, because that's what you need. I don't, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. It don't make sense.
So there it is. That video went crazy. Women were like, just saying the craziest stuff, like, I don't care to be needing no man. I could be by myself. You trying to say women who don't have kids are unhappy. I gave a very specific thing. I said that if you are saying that I want to be by myself forever, how can you say that you are truly healed? A healed, happy woman will not want to be by herself forever, right? Because you know why that's a lie is because you get a dog, right? You want a companion. You don't want to be by yourself truly. But of course, they twist my words as they do with anything else. And that, I believe, is what started this idea that I think women who aren't married or don't have a man are worthless, or women who don't have kids are this. And I'm like, I've never said nothing like that in my life. I don't even emphasize having kids or anything like that. I share my views on, encouraging women to be married before they have kids and encouraging women to choose the best men for them who are good men based on character and not just materialistic things. But again, they say anything to make me look bad, but whatever. But in referencing that video I wanted to talk about the viral 21 with no kids trend that was brought to my attention that has been spiraled on TikTok the last few weeks, I guess, and women being upset. So this video is going to look a little bit different because I want to kind of pop videos in and out just so we can talk about them. But I want to say this, right? Pregnancy is preventable. You can prevent pregnancy if you want to, right? So I am all for celebrating not having children, still finding yourself at a younger age, just enjoying your youth. I'm all for that. Why would I be upset about a woman who's 21 and she can join in the challenge? Like that's everybody can join in. Everybody can join in. But unfortunately, women are mad. Per the usual. I just think it's ironic I just think it's unfortunate when women who on one end will tell me women don't need to have kids, women are happy by themselves, but then the women who are celebrating not having kids, they attack them too. I've heard women, and my husband was the first one who brought this to my attention, and I was like, well, I don't know what's going on because I haven't been on TikTok. But it was a woman saying, like, women who won't have kids, young, if you're young without kids, you must not be fertile. It was just like, what? So you're trying to say that a woman who is 21, 24, 25 and don't have kids, something must be wrong with her body? But let me drop this first clip for y'all because it's sad. It's sad. It's really sad, the mind of these women. It really is.
amount of creatures that I've seen enter the chat about this 21 with no kids challenge and bring up the fact that some women don't have kids because men didn't want to get them pregnant. Are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? Half of y'all, the men didn't want to get you pregnant. Right? If we call up those men right now and ask them that they want to get you pregnant, they're going to say no. They're going to say they asked you to get rid of that baby and you wouldn't. Right, so to even sit up and fix your disgusting, dirty neck to be somewhere talking about the men ain't getting these women pregnant because these women ain't attractive enough, trust and believe, if you manage to get pregnant and have babies, anybody can. Anybody can, right?
So just think about that. This is how these women process things. She don't have kids because no man wanted to get her pregnant. And shout out to my girl Dana Dane. Like she said, you think the men out here who got kids by y'all wanted to get you pregnant? Or he was just having a good old time and you end up getting pregnant? We love to pick and choose when we want to be all about sisterhood, girl power, all for the girls. But it only works when you can fit into the equation, because you feel like, oh, I can't join in. I'm gonna now hate on the women who don't have kids. Like they're a walking contradiction, because I promise y'all, they have dragged me through the fire about spreading lies about my views on women without kids or women who are not married. They've said lies about something I've never said, but yet here they go making negative comments and just talking about they're not attractive and they have all these health problems or whatever it might be because they can get into the challenge and you can't. It just doesn't make sense. And it's so unfortunate because I'm all about encouraging young girls to save their bodies. You know, preserve your virginity, save it for your husband. We need to include that more in our community, but unfortunately that's not the reality, right? Waiting to have kids when you get older is not our thing. You know how many times I've had my students tell me that they don't want to be no old mom. They want to have kids when they're 19, 20. That's what they think is cool. They think it's cool. So I'm happy to see young girls who are 21, 22 letting that go. Not getting caught up in this, I'm gonna be old, and they're rushing their life before, you know, they even need to. So I'm happy to see this challenge. Why not? Why not? I do understand though. I will say this. I do understand when women say things that reference women who are 21 with no kids, 22, whatever, with no kids, but they have made the decision to, you know, have an AB, right? That's a choice. So people feel like, well, they can't say it because they did that. Granted, what they did. They still don't have kids. That was a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wants to always find a way to invalidate what you're doing because they're like, oh, well, you just don't want kids because you had all those ABs. No, but I'm not saying that's right at all. But we always find a way to discredit someone because you can't be included in the challenge. You can't be included in the conversation. So all you want to do is tear it apart. Whether it's motherhood, whether it's being a wife, whether it's being an entrepreneur, whether it's being, you know, whatever it is, if certain women can't include themselves in the conversation, all they want to do is find a way to hate on it and bring negativity to it.
Understand this whole trend, 25 with no kids, 32 with no kids. I'm trying to understand the point. I'm trying to understand what are you getting at? What do you want? What are you looking for? Nothing more that confuses me than a woman who is so happy in her life. She's happy about the little party life and drinking life and poom life, but come online and accuses another woman of not being happy about her life because she's not living the way you're living. But then I can easily argue like, okay, well, obviously you're not happy with your life because you're coming online for some type of attention grab. I mean, what are you looking for? What do you want, my love? You want some cookies? What do you want, baby?
That's all they can do. They can't really celebrate you truly because they're so unhappy with themselves. They can't celebrate you being 21 with no kids because they're really mad that they are a mom, to be quite honest. They ain't want to have no kids, but they do. And they patch up in this little pretty little bow and claim that they're all decided to have a baby. My baby's my world. My kid's my world. And that's not how they really feel. Because if you felt that way, you wouldn't be mad at these women who don't have kids. Here's another clip. that I was happy to see someone being able to recognize, like, I ain't mad. I got my baby, but I ain't mad. Here we go.
As a 21-year-old with a 9-month-old baby, that 21 no kids trend, I love that trend. Like, I love that for y'all. And having a baby is a lot, but babies are a blessing. I do not regret my baby. I don't know why everybody is so mad. I just be sitting there liking it. Sometimes I comment like, hey girl, shit, one girl said she was 30. I said 30. Hey, like, kids are a lot and everybody's not ready for kids.
So look at that. She made it clear, like, I'm happy to see that. Being young with a baby, they don't make me hate on them because I made a choice to have a baby. You're accountable. I made a choice, but I'm not going to be mad at these women who are able to participate. Why would I be mad? Why would I be bothered and upset about that? Honestly, the reality of it is a lot of women are a walking contradiction, and they love to find ways to tear other women down whenever they get an opportunity. That's why it's so hard to trust women of all race, don't get me wrong. But I do see that this is a trend happening in the Black community. And, you know, I don't know if this is, but I think this is something that's happening amongst us. And I think that we are the ones who tend to tear each other down more often than the other races when it comes to this type of stuff. You know, like, why? Again, pregnancy is preventable. If we stop pointing a finger, if we stop opening our legs to any and everybody, if we stop just thinking that you have no control over your body, you wouldn't be mad. Even the idea of, you know, the woman, the first clip I shared of like, well, yeah, we knew better. We knew better not to have no baby by him. You knew better not to have a baby by him, but you didn't know better to not sleep with him? That's how much we don't care about our bodies. That's how much we don't care. So you're mad because they had the baby, because you knew better not to have a baby, but why would I sleep with a man who I'm telling y'all, it's insane. And we are so hateful and so nasty and so mean that we really, really are doing ourselves a disservice. We really, really are. For me, I love to see older women who are willing to speak up and speak out for the young women and hold the other women accountable, because being a young mom, for those who were super young, teen mom, I was a mom at 23. So I still feel like I was pretty young having a child. But being a teen mom and being able to say, like, I had a baby young. And although my son or my daughter is doing well and they're in college, I'm not encouraging that for nobody else. I'm not encouraging that. Let me share this clip with y'all because I really love this content creator. And I think that when I've seen her commentary, she always gives very much like a older generation, giving young women encouragement and holding us accountable. So let me just share that with y'all and we're going to come back.
I saw some footage of the 21 with no kids Jacquees challenge, but what got me the most was these negative comments that these women are making. And I hate to say this, I even heard somebody say you 21 with no kids, or 24, whatever have you a certain age with no kids, but what have you accomplished? Here I go, I'm gonna tell you what they accomplished. Everything. I was 16 when I had my first son. My son is now 33, he'll be 34 this year, and he has no kids. I think that is a big accomplishment in the times that we live in today, when you are a certain age, 21, 25, 30, and with no kids. I think that's a big accomplishment in itself. Let me tell you why. Because the only thing you have to be concerned about is you in your life. When you get kids, it's not about you anymore. It's about your kids and all the decisions that you make surround your kids. So big ups to all the women that are 21, 16, 15, 35, 48, 50 with no kids. Because guess what? You beat the odds.
So I love that. You tell your story and you don't pull women into it. Like I said, women have a huge tendency to say, like, well, I was a teen mom, so you could do it too. Why would I encourage you to do it just because I did it and it worked out for me? It doesn't always work out for everybody. It doesn't. It doesn't. Women are so miserable, like I said, and they love to pretend like they're not. But this is when you really see how miserable people are. This is how you really see how miserable people are, when they find ways to tear you down for doing absolutely nothing. They're not even doing anything. They're just doing a challenge. They're not talking to nobody. They're not even speaking. These women are doing nothing and you're still mad. So once again, are they really happy about being moms? Are they really happy about having kids, the way that they're reacting in this situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Share your thoughts. Of course, if you like this conversation, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys at the next episode. Bye.